Hello everyone, this is my first time ever painting a Warhammer mini. I'm going to go through, I'm going to share the process with you as someone completely new to the hobby. So I've got my, as you can see here, my little water container. For the paints, I'll be using this to thin. I got my mini here, Space Marine. I primed it in black. I don't think I needed to prime it, but I did it anyways. But this video we're just going to be starting it out with a base of Macragge blue. So I'm going to base the whole model. Went ahead and picked up a hydro pack, some foam, and some sheets. And then I have that here, which I'll be doing. Go ahead and zoom this out for y'all to see. So we got that there, and then I got the mini here. Unfortunately, I don't have like glue tack to manipulate the mini, so I'm just going to be holding it by the base for this video. But we'll see how it turns out. Like I said, this is my very first mini. Kind of excited. We're just going to follow the instructions here. It says to wet the hydrofoam. I have a little bottle of water that I'm going to be using right here. How much water do I need? I'm guessing I do the whole foam, so I'll just show this part, I guess. That looks like that should be enough there. They didn't have any of the tins here at the hobby store for me to buy to make it a little easier for something that would actually just fit the pan. But yep, the whole foam seems to be absorbed now with water, all the edges. So then we'll take our little sheet here. Just place this right there. It says to get out all the air bubbles, which we're going to do. How and why did I get into Warhammer 40,000? Yeah, it just started as played Magic the Gathering a lot. At the game store, I would always see people playing with the minis. Never thought I would get into it just because of the nature of things, but those wrinkles there. Try to get those out. Yeah, just fell in love with the hobby. I love building the miniatures. It's very relaxing for me. So I'm just going to use the other end of my brush here. Just kind of try to get these wrinkles out. So yeah, we're just going to start with the Space Marine and see how that goes. And if everything goes well, then we'll go on to the next step in the second video of this. But this is going to be my series of my first time ever painting, which I'm very excited for. I do have some glasses here, some magnifying lens that I will be using for up close just so I don't mess anything up. So Macragge blue, this is the baseline that it said. And I have this here getting started. Kind of gives me a little rundown on what I need to do to paint this mini up, so I will be following that for the most part. Yeah, we're just going to be following these steps here and hope that it goes well. So I will end up putting this in the back line, in the back here. Let me move these brushes out the way. Put that right there on the keyboard. Just push the keyboard a little bit further back here. Got the little sticker transfers there. Experiment with that a little bit. So we'll push that back. There we go. So it says, previous page, how to paint. We're going to apply some paint to the palette. We're going to wash the brush. Got some brand new brushes. Like I said, I've never painted before in my life. So this will be a first time experience, and you'll be here to join me, which I'm pretty excited for. So, first things first, remove the paint. Well, first I'm going to shake it up a little bit. It's still sealed. There we go. I have to pick a brush that I want to use. We're going to put a little bit of water into our water cup here. Right up to about there. That works for me. And for this, since we're doing the whole model, I think I'm going to want a little bit of a bigger brush. So I did go ahead and pick up a Citadel Color STC Base Medium. Or I also have these other brushes which was gifted to me. No name, but yeah, I probably won't use this one right now. So we'll just go with this Base M. I think that's a good place to start. Alright, apply to palette. We're just going to do 2 little drops off the rip. Alrighty, so I'm going to zoom us back in. Oh, says I need a piece of kitchen paper to wipe this. So, give me just 1 second. I'm going to pause it so you probably won't even notice it in the video. But oh, sorry about that. We're back. I pressed the wrong button, but we got our piece of tissue paper here. So we're just going to clean my brush and then wiping it on a piece of this here like this. And we're going to add some water. Boom. All right, we'll keep that right here beside us. And we're going to take some water and add it to our paint here. There's 1 and 2. I did 2 drops, so I'm going to do 2 drops. I did 2 drops of the McCrag blue paint. So then it says to dip the brush, pull and twist. And now we're going to get into painting the mini. I'm going to zoom us in a little bit more. Start on the shoulder pad right here. I mean, I guess if we're doing the whole model, I don't need to go crazy on where the paint hits. And already it kind of looks like it's a little bit too watered down just from a look. So we're going to grab a little bit more of the blue. We're just going to mix it in. So that looks like I did a little bit too much water. It's okay. It's a learning process. And then also I primed it with black, which isn't necessarily the best thing to do, but let's start down here on this leg maybe. We're just trying to get full coverage. And it still looks a little bit watery, but that's okay. We can come back a second time. We're just trying to cover the model as best as we can with the amount that's loaded on the brush. Trying not to go over everything. Alright, let's hit this upper leg here in this armor. It looks like it's still a little too watered down. That's okay. That is okay. I'm going to get a little bit more blue on our palette here. Let's hit this back leg here. Now see, this is the blue that I was looking for right here. This type of coverage. I really like this consistency of the paint. Let's get in the recesses there. You can't see what I'm doing here, but I'm putting it in, giving a little twist, and then dragging it out just a little bit so the brush isn't too loaded. We'll get this holster here. Again, this is just our base coat, so we're just trying to give full coverage to the model. And I've had these models for a while, and I had wanted to paint them, but never having painted before brought with it a lot of anxiety for myself. And yeah, I put a post up on Reddit, and some of the words were, if you never start, then you'll never know what they'll look like. And the first models are going to be bad just because of the nature of zero experience, which makes sense. So yeah, just decided to do it, and here we are. There's only one way to get better, and that's a little too watered down for my taste. Oh, you cannot do what I'm doing. See what I'm painting there? I am so sorry. And I have so many models that I want to paint, but they'll never get painted if I never take that leap. So I am just diving right in. So we just want to try to cover as much as we can with this first layer, because we'll come back again and do any patch-ups that need it. Maybe. Oh, sorry, it wasn't focused. This is also my first time ever recording a video, so I have my phone taped to my movable light here, which is providing us with enough light here to see this model. This front leg here, sorry. Let's get up in there. Oh, sorry, it's not focused. There we go. Just trying to cover the entire model with blue as best as I can. And again, it's the first little bit of base coating, so we're not too worried if we don't get full coverage, because we will be coming back and giving it a second pass, and maybe even a third or a fourth if it needs it. But it's better to put it on thin and add more layers than to glob it on, and from what I've read and watched. So sorry, there we go. I'm very excited to start this process, and any tips or tricks that you guys have on how to get better at painting, I would love to hear feedback. Yeah, this is something that helps me a lot with the struggles of day to day, is just being able to take some time away and not have to worry about anything but painting. Oh, sorry, you can't see what I'm doing there. Let's get his boot around. Trying to get around his boot here. There we go. Get up in here. Looks like we missed a lot up in here. That's okay. We are okay with that. So we will come and get it right now. Boom. Get this gun hand right here. What you know about that? Put some blue up on there. And we're just going to dab it in. Hit all those little creases in there just to get that nice blue. That nice McCrag blue. We're going to add just a drip of water here, just because I keep grabbing paint from the thing, but I don't want it I don't want it like it's straight out of the little bottle there, because then I feel like that is a little too thick. And but yeah, I started getting into Warhammer 40,000 when I was stationed over in South Korea. And there was a little hobby store over next to the army base there that was over near Camp Humphreys. I think it was like Kim's Collectibles or something, and yeah, I had some magic cards that I was wanting to sell, and I'd always wanted to get into Warhammer, but the price was kind of a deterrent, just because I mean, Warhammer's not cheap, but so I traded in the cards and got some store credit, and with that I was able to buy my first little minis, which was the Necron and Space Marine like starter pack thing. They had it on sale there, so I was able to get that, and I instantly fell in love right away with the building them, but I had always feared painting, just as it seemed so far out of reach for someone who had never done it, and for it to be good, there was a lot of intimidation from watching all of the painters and YouTube creators going about painting their models and how they spend hours and hours doing it. It was just very intimidating, but we all got to start somewhere, and your first model is always going to be your first model. So, like I said, I'm very excited to get this going, and hopefully the start of a process that I can come to share with you guys. So that's kind of the hope here, is that make me feel not alone in this process or this journey. So he's got his little jump pack here, and my favorite Space Marine factions at the moment, if I had to rate them based on how cool they looked, I really like the look of the Space Wolves, but Gray Knights are pretty cool too. I mean, I like all the armors, all the chapters, to be honest, but looks like I'm running out of paint here. On my little pad. I'm having trouble seeing some of the spots where I missed, which I guess maybe priming them black wasn't the best choice, but that's okay. It's not the end of the world. And at the end of the day, it's just one mini. It's not going to define what the rest of my minis look like in the future. So I have a trip coming up in about 2 weeks where I'm going to go visit my girlfriend, and then afterwards, when I come home, I'm going to spend a little bit of money and build myself a hobby desk, which I am super excited about. I'm going to just go back over the model now with a little bit of blue here. He's starting to look okay. There's still a lot of spotches like this where it looks like it went on a little too thin. So I'm going to have to address that, and then also just get into the spots that I wasn't able to reach. And hopefully, the next video I will have a little holder, because my left hand is starting to get a little tired, if I'm being completely honest here. I need to somehow manipulate the brush up into behind his little jetpack here, which I'm seeming to have some issues manipulating the brush. Gotta wake up my computer in the background. I would like to know in the comments how everyone's day is going. My day is going pretty well. Today is, of course, January 3rd, so just after the New Year's. Happy New Year's to everyone. I hope everyone had a good time. Hopefully you got to spend it with loved ones or friends even. And just, there's a lot of hate that goes on in the world, and it's unfortunate that some people have to deal with the harshness more than others, and I feel sorry for those who have to deal with tough times. And as someone who goes through a lot of tough times myself, I can relate. But get right up in those creases that I couldn't get to before. That almost looks a little too thick there for that crease, but that's all right. We're not worrying about the little things like that. So we're going to get the inner of this leg here, and the bottom of the foot down in there. That's where I want to get. I did manage to get the Leviathan box. I pre-ordered it and I got it shipped to me. And I have yet to build those models, but when I do, I will definitely 100% bring you guys along. We're using a lot of paint here. I'm not sure if this is normal or like what a good amount of paint that is being used is. I need to somehow get the inside of this gun, his little flamethrower gun here I'm having some issues getting to the inside of it. I'm just gonna, so sorry about that. Need to get into these little bits here and okay, see some spots up here that need to be hit. Maybe if I do it like this, you guys might be able to see it a little better. Oh yeah, it's starting to look good now. Oh yeah, I'm getting excited. We like to see progress. There we go. We are making some good progress. We like to see that. Just get in and give him some touching on that inner arm in there. It looks like I didn't manage to get that at all. I'm running out of paint on my little palette here. My palette is already kind of wet, so I don't feel like I need to add too much water. You can see there's still areas where I haven't gotten the base paint in that I'm trying to manipulate the brush to get. And I'm just trying to find a way to manipulate the model and the brush that is in my hand to get in there and just to apply the paint. It is very hard to see, but the entirety of his arm back there is not painted. And I don't really like that. I don't like that I have not gotten paint back there. So that is what we're going to do right now. We're just going to try to get as much paint as we can up in here. That looks like that was a little bit too much blocky paint there. So we're gonna wet the brush and we're gonna run it over the face. Gonna water down his face. And try to get that paint to thin a little bit so that it doesn't glob up into as you can see that there. A little bit of a mess up. The paint was too thick when I put it onto his face, and it kind of glumped up in the recesses, which we don't want. So I watered my brush down, and it just applied the nice little bit of water to it, and it's not going to hurt the model. There we go. That's what I was looking to do. Let the brush absorb some of the paint. And not the model. So that all those fine details, I'm just going to do it very lightly here. Get in around his neck. Now we're just going to give it a quick one over. Okay, so middle of the belt, up under the arm pad. The back of the neck, okay. So we got back of the jump pack. Back of the neck here. Right up in there. What else do we have? Oh, right there. That's a big splotch of black that I see right there. So we're going to try to manipulate the brush just in there. We have some more of the pack in the back here. We're just going to splotch up some of that. Just let the brush run a little free. That's okay. The more that the brush touches, the more so we're just going to do kind of some feather. A little bit of a feather motion here. It's not going to hurt the model. Dab in here. That little grenade or something on his belt loop back there, belt buckle. Alright. Let's do it like this a little bit. Oh yeah, this is coming along very nicely. Alright, we're just going to give a little bit more paint onto his boot here. And his little kneecap looking thing here. I would say this is a major improvement from where we started. And I want to thank you all for coming along this journey with me so far, and hopefully you stick around to see not only the finished product, but potentially many more in the future. And I just want to thank you everyone for your time as we add the last little bits here of paint to kind of finish off this base. Yeah, just thank you all, and I hope everyone, like I said, had a happy holidays, happy New Year, Merry Christmas, or happy holidays, whatever you celebrate. And these good times, because the world is in a rough state, unfortunately, and it's good to be conscious that not everyone is having not necessarily an easy time, but that times can be rough for a lot of people, and just to take some time away and to get to enjoy it and spend time painting some models. I'll take every little win that I can. I'm just giving it a nice little kind of gloss. I'm just trying to get paint around potentially to where it hasn't been to yet. And the first model doesn't have to be perfect, because nothing in life is perfect. But that's okay. Last little bit on the gun here, and I am satisfied with this. This is been part 1 of my first ever painting and Warhammer Mini. Yep. So we had based it with a full black primer, and then we just went ahead and applied. Let me close this here. The Citadel color base Macragge blue. We used our little wet map here, which you can find the Army Painter Hydro Pack. So shout out to them for making such an easy concept for someone like me who's never painted to go ahead and do that. In the next video, unfortunately they didn't have any of the Abaddon black, but I managed to find some Grim black speed paint, and with this we'll be going into all the joints. The joints like in the back of the leg, the buttocks, in between the jetpack. We'll be basing the gun black. And going from there. But thank you for spending the time with me, and I hope everyone has a fantastic time. Ciao.